Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So there's loads of people, mostly the ones on the woke right, that got offended by Douglas Murray pointing out the error of their ways when he was debating Dave Smith on Joe Rogan recently, that created a massive firestorm and debate on the internet. The ones that I'm talking about, the Hodge twins, Candace Owens, and a number of other people, were getting incredibly upset at Douglas Murray pointing out the bad faith individuals on the right, and, well, loads of other people that were fans of Candace Owens, the Hodge twins, Ian Carroll, Daryl Cooper, the like, all got their panties in a bunch and kept on attacking and defending those individuals, because apparently Douglas Murray is a warmonger, which he's not. Apparently Douglas Murray saying the things that he said meant that he was against freedom of speech. He's not. And, well, Nathan Livingston of Milk Bar TV, and I thought that I would give this man an enormous amount of credit, because credit is definitely due with this. He put together a compilation of people on the woke right that is now, well, you now refer to it as a woke right because of James Lindsay and now Jordan Peterson. But everything that Douglas Murray was saying and tried to warn Joe Rogan about, here is a compilation for you all. And thank you so much to Nathan Livingston. Have a watch.
I will find something that he did that I wouldn't have done, because if I'd have been running the British Empire in 1939, I'd have known exactly how to do it, and I'd have known how to hold the whole thing together, and I'd have kept Stalin back, and he'd have been great at Yalta. And like, this is...
But I don't think anybody's saying that.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic, maybe. But I told him, maybe trying to provoke him a little bit, that I thought Churchill was the chief villain of the Second World War. Now, he didn't kill the most people. He didn't commit the most atrocities. But I believe, and I think when you really get into it and tell the story right and don't leave anything out, you see that he was primarily responsible for that war becoming what it did.
He and these other guys are all doing the anti-Churchill stuff now.
But he's not doing an anti-Churchill stuff.
You know, the circles I float in, it wasn't that crazy of a thing to say. It's like, yeah, we all know Churchill is the villain. I thought that was common knowledge.
But you can't say he helped his country. I was in London 2 weeks ago. Like that, they didn't win the war in any meaningful way. Like, he wrecked the country.
No, but the question is, like, where's the victory? I don't understand. Like, everyone wants to yell at you for not loving Churchill. Okay, well, show me the victory.
Because we've all been so brainwashed by the school system to believe that, oh, look how great things are. Let me ask you about your country. Do you think that your country has become greater since? Has our country become greater since? Absolutely not.
Brutal war.
Yeah, it was an existential threat, because if Germany won, they would have seized Russia, and who knows what the world would look like today.
Right. It's hard to say. Worse, better, we have no idea to know, right?
World War II was perhaps the greatest catastrophe in human history. And the starting point of any discussion about it must be that of all the possible outcomes that could have resulted from events leading up to the conflict, the one that ended up happening was the worst of all.
But there still is just the basic facts that it almost couldn't have gone worse.
Sorry, I just have to address that fundamental. You say the outcome of World War II and everything that happened in it was the worst thing that's ever happened, and the worst thing imaginable, worst possible outcome, you said.
No. Just about.
You said worst possible outcome. Let me give you a much worse possible outcome.
Right. Okay. Sure.
So it's not the worst possible outcome.
I mean,
that's true.
Listen, but okay, yes, okay. I'm not saying you can't dream up a worse outcome.
Do you decide to go, hey, what else have we been lied to? Maybe Churchill wasn't a great guy. Maybe Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. Maybe the Holocaust, etc., etc. And that is exactly
no one is saying maybe Hitler wasn't such a bad guy.
Because I honestly think that he was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination.
Some transcribe speeches in English. Yeah. I was like, oh, this dude's probably racist. He's probably gonna say the N-word every right now. I was like, oh my god.
He's just very pro-Germany. Like,
listen to what he's talking about, and it's like, this sounds like the problems we're having today. Like, he was trying to, like, encourage community, encourage, family values, remove the perversion. He wanted to instill morals. I mean, was he a good guy or not? I don't fucking know. I wasn't there, but I was told that he is the worst guy in the fucking history of the world, and that's for sure not true.
Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen.
I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. has a lot of redeeming qualities.
She said something along the lines of, oh yeah, 6 million Jews died in the and I was like, oh my.
I'm just so sick of hearing that, you playing along with something that you just know is bullshit.
They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I'm like, the idea that they just like human up and then sewed them back together. Why would you do that? Literally, even if you're the most evil person in the world, that's a tremendous waste of time and supplies.
There is a portion of the right across the West that is playing this very dark game, and they're doing it deliberately, and you can't not be aware of that.
I agree.
First, they come for Churchill. The woke left, dingbats over there, hated Churchill. They went after Churchill. They would say horrible things about Churchill, like he is truly the villain. Now you've got members on the right, like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. You heard them. Part of that compilation was, as Nathan quite cleverly put together, I might add, it's their own words. They're saying it. They're saying that, oh, maybe I'm being hyperbolic. Maybe I was trying to upset him a little bit. Maybe I was trying to provoke him a little bit. But if you really tell history from the right perspective, it makes Churchill, like World War II was worse because Churchill made it what it is. He made it worse. So according to Daryl Cooper and all the other dingbats like him, the revisionist history types, the ones that don't really know history, they're apparently right about history now because they said so, because they're now given a major platform and loads of people are listening to them, and loads of people in the US are now thinking that Churchill was the chief villain of World War II. Hitler wasn't apparently an anti-Semite. No, Hitler apparently tried to get peace. It was Churchill's fault that Hitler didn't get peace during World War II. Wow. So that kind of rhetoric that is now being seen a lot on the right with these bad faith individuals, Jake Shields, for example, he's been hit far too many times in the head for him to actually be any kind of person that one would want to listen to at all. I don't understand why so many people want to listen to him. Then that other Hitler fanatic saying that, oh, I've done lots of my own research and I've came away with the belief that I wasn't that bad. Right, man. Yeah. What sort of history are you looking at? That's what I mean with Douglas pointing to Joe. You've got to be very careful with what you are feeding. If these people are given a major platform to a major audience, more and more people that have vulnerable minds are going to start believing in this woke garbage. It's ridiculous. It ain't real history. There's a reason why we have the history books recorded for us what actually happened. We can go back and look what actually happened and what they said. But no, they're trying to change it to suit a modern day vernacular against good people. Now twist it. And you know why? Because he was against the Jews. And now all of a sudden they're very much against the Jews too. Watch out. The Jews are evil, apparently. That is according to Jake Shields, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and many others now, Hodge twins. They recently had Nick Fuentes on as well. You could count the amount of brain cells actually in the room. 3, not even. That's how many brain cells were in the room with that photo between 2 Hodge twins and Nick Fuentes. So Douglas pointing all this out was right. He's not a warmonger at all. He doesn't want war to continue. He wants it to end. But calling out Churchill and saying he was a chief villain, that is a downright and utter lie. They're saying that the worst possible outcome has already happened, according to Tucker and Dave Smith. So the worst possible outcome, according to them, was that lost. Churchill won. And that we have democracy the way that it is today. But Douglas pointed out the worst possible scenario is wins. Imagine a world like that. I don't think they can, because they wouldn't actually be here. Ian Carroll, Dan Bilzerian, the Hodge twins, Bryce Mitchell, the list can go on and on and on. Dan Bilzerian saying, oh, when I look at what Hitler was talking about, it doesn't sound too bad at all. Trying to encourage family values, remove the perversion. Right. So removing the perversion by creating an Aryan race and killing all the Jews, right? So according to Dan Bilzerian, the Jews were responsible for everything wrong or everything evil in Germany at the time. And so according to Hitler, he had to get rid of them all. He had to exterminate them all, because why do we want that? They don't promote family values at all, even though there were loads of families that Hitler ended their lives. They were promoting family values. No, you can't make up excuses for literally the worst atrocity known to mankind. One of them, at least, probably in modern times, aside from what Mao did to his own people. But Hitler, probably not too far down the list. But Bryce Mitchell, oh yeah, he wasn't such a bad guy. Got my own research, my own opinion. Dan Bilzerian going, I look at him and go, fuck. Like, what is wrong with you? And that's what I mean. And what Douglas was talking about. When you do your own research and you come across these dingbat types, these son of a dingbats, you end up with major problems on your hands because none of them know any ounce of like history, sense at all. It's all gone out the window. Anyway, that's enough from me. But well done to Milk Bar TV. Nathan, thank you very much. You guys take care. Be blessed. And I'll see you all in the next video.